Okay, I want you guys to meet
Hi, how are you?
Pastor Zebulon from South Africa
Good
and
morning.
Pretoria. And
Yes, it's Pretoria.
this is a minister and business person, computer scientist, Johnny Lee Clark. And he's a member of the church Cathedral of Faith. And actually, Johnny, the pastor, has been praying for you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted you guys to meet. So, Pastor Zebulon, can you go through what you do and what you're working on, your church project in South Africa?
Yes, I want to greet all participants. This is Pastor Zebulon Nkwana. Good morning in the US. Here is good evening. I want to thank God for all of you and our brother there, Johnny, ahead of you and what God has been doing through you. I'm a senior pastor of House of Prayer Church in Pretoria here in South Africa. And I got to know Brother Franklin sometime back through one of my friends who's an attorney here in South Africa. And we are based in Pretoria. We are involved in different community ministries, and we are doing a lot of outreaches to the community because we strongly believe it's not only spiritual needs that people have. So we've got social services ministries that we do in our church, and the Lord has been so good. Actually, as I'm speaking, God has given us a very big land where we just began our building construction of the church, and we are trusting God for provisions because we have started already. And by the grace of God, actually activates God's blessing. The ministry of our brother there, Franklin, will be accommodating the ministry in our place where we are. Hence, I said we have just started with our project because we've been using a tent, and we are actually I'm in charge of almost 22 churches in our town. So I'm leading those churches, and where I am in Pretoria, we are involved in construction of our church. We believe God that we need to build God's house first. As the Lord blesses us, and we are believing God that we're gonna, actually, we've got so many orphans that we are catering, and we are doing even a ministry to elderly people. So this place is very much needed for our ministry so that we can operate our base in a place where we are. So as I said, we've got the land which belongs to our ministry. And in collaboration with our brother there, Franklin, actually, even the office of Activates God's Blessing will be based in our church here in Pretoria. But now we are trusting God for funds so that we can finish up the thing. And really, God has been so good. Even though we've been using a tent, hundreds of people, they are really responding to the Lord. So God is working right here in Africa, and Africa will never be the same again. And this beautiful nation of South Africa, which gave birth to our great man Nelson Mandela, is getting transformation through the church. So that's what we are doing, and we are trusting God.
Amen.
And God is very good, and He's gonna really work. And I'm so thankful and so grateful to meet people like you. As the Lord willing, we really gonna meet physically one day.
Amen, my preacher. I tell you what, I've actually been to Pretoria twice.
Is that so?
And Table Mountain as well. I haven't been to Victoria yet, but I have been to South Africa twice. Yes.
Oh, okay. Cape Town, Table Mountain, yes.
Yes. We took some kids from the United States to understand what it meant to be who they were.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned Nelson Mandela. I actually had a chance to go to his childhood home.
Wonderful.
Oh
Okay.
my Lord. Yes, I kissed the ground when I got there.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's awesome, eh?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, no, we really trust God. We are believing God. The work of the Lord is going well. We are just trusting God to complete. I think Brother Franklin knows, and he has even seen our. Actually, he stepped on the ground. He prayed on our ground here when he was here in South Africa. He prayed on the ground, on the land. The building has just begun that time. So we are believing God, trusting God for His provision, so that because that's what is limiting us now. As as I said, we want to do the issue of orphans and elderly people, and just catering for the needy, and that there are people who are needy, there are people who go without food. So as a church, we believe that we need to help where God help us. But now having a stable place, that's what will really help us and assist us. So we are trusting God. We've been praying for you. As I heard about you, man of God, Johnny, the past 2-3 weeks we've been praying because Brother Franklin told me about you and that you will meet. So I'm so thankful that I'm able to meet with you, all you there in the States.
Amen.
Well,
Go ahead,
Johnny.
Yeah. I was going to say, and I appreciate Franklin too. You guys continue to pray his strength in the Lord, because what he's doing is bringing together opportunities to reach God's people. And listening to you, Pastor, I just want to briefly say, I want you to. So I have an opportunity to speak to people like yourself a lot of times, and the thing that I want you to leave with is God gave you the ability to have people think outside the box.
Yes.
But in your role in this, consider God calling you to create a box for others to think outside of.
Yeah, I get you.
So what does that box look like that we're going to have others think outside of?
I should believe it's all about even being able to do things on your own. Being able to be creative and innovative. So
Yes.
that's what we are being able to be innovative, being creative, and not looking or undermining yourself.
Right.
Because as the man thinks, so is
Amen.
he.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Pastor,
Yeah, as the man thinks.
Pastor, one
so
of the
is he.
things that I kind of want to bring the vision that you have for the campus there. You mentioned that you wanted to put apartments, you wanted to put a community center, an orphan,
Yes.
and you have allowed me an opportunity to do a school of business. And maybe if
Yes.
you don't mind going into detail, and so that Johnny can hear, your desire and your vision for that campus. It's about 20 acres, right? 12
Yes.
hectares. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a vast land, as you've got some pictures there. So we just thought it wise, Brother Johnny, that we should start first with God's house. In other words, a place of worship where people can worship, and then a place where they'll be able to think out of the box. So if they've got a place where they are able to be taught to think out of the box, it will be much easier. So we started with the church building first, which we are trusting God to complete as the Lord provides. And meeting with Brother Franklin with the issue of the School of Business, that will be a very, very, especially in our community, this school of, I'm telling you, the Lord helping you and us here building that business school. I met with community leaders. Can I tell you something, Brother Franklin?
Sure.
As I'm speaking on actually yesterday, I met with community leaders, telling them that there's going to be a business school for the very, very first time right here in this township. They can't believe it. Actually, they can't comprehend it. They need to think out of the box. So I'm talking about community leaders. I'm talking about councillors, political leaders. I told them, I said, in this place, there will be a business school which will empower young people right in the church premises. Just think of that, right in the church premises. So, this being a short-term plan or a long-term plan, but surely what God has started, God will finish, and our God is a sufficient God, and really that's why He is bringing us together. So it has started as a burden to Brother Franklin, but even me now, I'm feeling it. It's like we are sharing the burden. It's like already I can envision. I can envision that business school having learners who are empowered, who will be changing South Africa and Africa and Pretoria, with entrepreneurial skills, empowered right in the church premises. So Amen. This is part of our vision, to see that college, that business school running in the church premises.
I get excited hearing about it. There was a prophecy that was given to me about going to South Africa, and when I was in Tanzania, it was during the time of COVID, and I was reluctant to going to South Africa because in the Airbnb that I was staying in, I was planning just to stay in Tanzania, but there was a woman that came into the Airbnb that I was staying in. She stayed in one room right across from me, and she said she was a missionary from South Africa, and she just came to see some friends of hers, and when she left, then our friend Victor came. He was in that room, same room. And one day Victor stopped me, and I was keeping to myself, just doing what I was doing. And Victor stopped me. He said, "Can I sit down and talk to you?" He said, "There's something different about you. I've seen it before, but I don't know what it is." and he said, I said, "Well, I'm here to do ministry and business. I'm working on a project called African Trade Network." And he said, "Well, you know what? If you come to South Africa, we can help you." And I thought, I don't know if I should do that. COVID is taking place, and but then I when I went to another up to Arusha. We were in Dar es Salaam. He kept calling me and he said, well, you should come to South Africa. And I told my wife, I said, I don't know this guy, I said, I don't know if I should go to South Africa or not. But I said, I don't know if this is God, I said, but I'm afraid that it may be God, because there was a guy in Santa Cruz where I live. He was having a struggle one day. He was on the street. He said he was from South Africa and he needed some food. He said, I'm a diabetic, I need food, I'm homeless. And I ended up giving him some money to go in the grocery store and get some food. And when I saw him later, he had 3 bananas. And I would always go in that same store and get 3 bananas. And I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, got 3 bananas? I usually get 3 bananas. but he had told me, I told him, I said, well, I'd love to go to South Africa. And he called me once and he said, brother, you're going to be going to South Africa. So I kept that in mind, when I met Victor in Tanzania, and he was trying to get me to come to South Africa. And I told Victor on the phone once, when I was talking to him there in Tanzania, I said, well, I'm looking to meet someone in South Africa that has something to do with trade for my African trade network that I'm working on. And I said, and I need to get an attorney. And he was a little bit offended because he said, well, but I'm an attorney. I'm going, you're an attorney? I didn't know you were an attorney. And he said, my brother works for the South African trade. He's in trade in South Africa. And I'm going, whoa, what a confirmation. So I ended up going to South Africa, and I was there for 4 months. And that's where I actually uploaded my book, Activate God's Blessings, to the publisher, was in South Africa. And I write a little bit about Victor and his brother, Jerry. And then Victor wanted me to come and meet you, Pastor. But I want you also, Johnny, to kind of explain, you came up with some ideas of using Activate God's Blessings, the 30-day challenge, and getting the choir to go through the prayers in the book and creating an app for the guys that are incarcerated that are coming out that you want to utilize this app for. Can you expound on that a little bit, Johnny?
Certainly, yes. And y'all forgive me. I'm gonna have to pop out in about 5 or 10 minutes, unfortunately.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be done at 11.
No worries. No, you have to worry about me because I'll carry on too far. So the short answer is this: Cathedral of Faith is one of the top 100 evangelical churches in the United States, meaning that we have an audience locally of about 10,000 individuals. Globally, it's probably close to 150,000 or more. We have satellites in Italy, Nigeria, Uganda. We have 5 satellite facilities here in the Bay Area as well. We have a TV program. We have multiple apps: prayer.com, cathedraloffaith.org, my own app that I use inside of the Cisco Networking Academy, and additional tools. And all of those synthesize or come together under City Lab Professional, where Franklin and I were discussing about the app. We have a development team that is out of Virginia. I'm sorry, excuse me for the noise, out of Virginia Beach, but her team is international. So she has individuals in Nigeria as well as in the United States, and they co-develop the boxes that I create for others to think outside of. In this case, you're looking at a 30-day challenge. Well, that's in the terms of the Greek word ekklesia, which is ministry in the marketplace. If you see an app as the same as you would see a bottle of milk, then you understand that the consumption of the material on the app can be consumed like milk as well. So someone might provide you with $1 a day or a ram a day or something to that, a rand a day for the ability to be able to access this thing consistently over time. If we were to subscribe to Netflix, or if we were to subscribe to YouTube, this would not be anything different than being able to have a community that's online, that's praying and collectively working together. Ironically, gentlemen, that is a huge revenue generator if you're trying to do a capital campaign, because you're no longer just reaching your township, you're reaching other elements of the world that are coming together around common goals. And that's business.
That's really great. That's great. And, I know you have to go, Johnny. And what I want to do is I would like to have, I'm going to start a prayer out. And I would like for you to pray, Johnny, for the project in South Africa. And I would like the pastor to end this prayer. And then we will bless you as you go and do God's work. So
I appreciate it. And just a side note, I have a young lady, her husband is getting ready to go from a county prison to state prison. And this is where our ministry lies. It's in the family. It's in restoring the man and the female back to the holistic part of the family that is really the core of our success. And, I have to deliver some messaging to her that she has to remain calm in this process, which goes back to your book, Franklin. If they're collectively working through a 30-day process of consistent prayer together, what will 30 days, we know what you look like now. What's God trying to do with you 30 days from now? And then let's look at that and see where you are in the 30-day period and understand, what is that next step now, Lord? But you can't get there unless you have that want to first step. You gotta have that step. So that's what I'm praying with and for you on as you start us out here.
Dear God in heaven, we thank you and we praise you for this opportunity to meet with Pastor Zebulun and Johnny and the ministries that you've given us all.